So the NBA is engaged in serious discussions with the Players Association and broadcast partners on sweeping dramatic changes to the league calendar that would include a reseeding of the 4 conference finalists, a 30-team in-season tournament, and the postseason play-in. And this is all sources from Zach Lowe and Woj. Shout out to both of them because they don't tell no lies. These scenarios would come with shortening the regular season to a minimum of 78 games. There's more here, but I have a lot of opinions. I think this is a result of player load management. I think this is a result of broadcasters and television organizations saying, yo, we need to find a way to get these games to matter so these guys play.
Just say how it is. It's money.
Do y'all think this is good for the league? That's my first question.
I think Ben said they should take a look to see if they could revamp how the games are played or scheduling, blah, blah, blah. I don't think reducing the season by 4 games is going to matter too much. Whether you do it or you don't, I just think that's completely unnecessary. I do believe, to agree with you, this is all a result of load managing and how to get the regular season games to actually feel meaningful, because that's where your bread and butter and that's where most of your money is going to be made throughout the season.
Yep.
From everything I heard, it was the 78 games. They said they thought about switching the playoff format to maybe have play-in games as well.
Yeah, I said all that.
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, because I think if you have play-in games, I think the regular season is going to matter even less.
Yeah, because now dudes are going to think in their minds, oh, I'm good enough to win that one game. Why are these not?
Yeah. That 5-game series or whatever is going to be, yeah.
Depends on how you set up the playing games.
Yeah.
So also,
qualify for it.
and I don't know if I think I mentioned it, but I'll also reiterate if I did, that the 4 top teams
will get
reseeded.
realigned.
Yeah.
That made it interesting.
Wait, no, I didn't. Yeah, I heard that, but I didn't understand exactly what
So
they were.
once it gets to the last the conference finalists, they'll reseed them. So in terms of their record, so there could be a
So
possibility.
whoever had the best record for the first 2 rounds would get a number 1 seed?
I don't know for the first 2 rounds or the regular season.
Yeah, we don't
and
know
that's
yet.
the trick. If they make it for the regular season, that could possibly align for a Lakers versus Clippers NBA Finals.
Oh, reseeded regardless of conference?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've always been.
I thought that was kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't.
I can say this. You'll get a finals where you're actually probably going to get the top 2 teams in the NBA. I don't know if I'm really feeling it, because I'm still with conference play. I just really wish the Eastern Conference could match up with the West. But I really do like the idea of the way they're thinking.
What I was always a fan of, and I like the idea of reseeding regardless of conference, but just because I feel like for the last couple of years, the finals has been the Western Conference Finals. Maybe not last year, but definitely some of those Bron years. Like,
no. Everybody's been saying it for a long time.
All right, cool. As long as
Even before the Bron saga of going to the finals, it was
for a while
pretty much West.
Yeah, whoever's coming out of
looking at like the Lakers, the Spurs, those conference finals.
Out of the last 20 years, I think the
Golden
East has won it like
State,
4
Houston,
times.
Like in more recent history.
Like
Bron's won
5
3.
seeds, yeah. And then Pistons, the Heat, that's 5.
5.
Boston won it once, that's 6. That's 6.
and the other 14.
So out of like the last 20 years, the East has won a finals 6 times.
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but okay.
I mean,
it's pretty one-sided.
If we're talking
it's definitively
if we're talking
one-sided.
about conferences where each of them have the same amount of teams, yeah.
Because realistically, in a perfect NBA world, it's supposed to be more split 50-50. To where the best teams that come out of East Conference, like it's not going to be every year, but like if you take a sample size of 20 years, you're going to want it to be closer to 10-10. It might fall 12-8. It might fall 11-9, but 14-6.
With it looking like.
And one of them was a 3-1 comeback, and the other one was an upset against Kobe and Shaq.
7 actually.
Who's the other one?
Toronto.
So, Toronto.
So what?
So
it's
13-7.
13-7. That's a little bit better rather than how to be.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, you would prefer 10-10, but 7-13 isn't like horrible.
The question is, does this make the league more interesting?
I think if they do like the realignment, potentially in the conference finals. And like you said, what Taman said, what are the factors for reseeding? Is it just your regular season? Is it regular season along with what you've been doing in the playoffs? Because then that could reward the team that is sweeping the first 2 rounds. Like, that could reward that.
So I'm reading it. It says the reseeding of teams in the semifinal round based on regular season record could give the NBA championship series that includes its 2 best teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I just said. So you're going to actually get the 2 best teams in the NBA. That's what you want in the finals. Yeah.
What I would still want...
That could be a LA finals.
Yeah, it definitely would. I would love to see something along the lines of it. They would never do it, but like if they did a 1 through 16, and I know what everybody's gonna say, oh, the travel, fair enough. To somewhat make all the games matter more, because nobody wants to really take away that 82 games because that's where all the bread is at, for the most part.
I mean, that's why they're only willing to cut it maybe 4 games.
So keep it, and which honestly I don't think you should, but if we're gonna do a 1 through 16. Let it be that first round, because for a while the league was doing it. Let maybe that first round be a best of 5 instead of 7. So that way, okay, maybe you don't want to have to potentially do a 7-game series between Portland and Washington. I can understand why that could be a lot traveling wise on the players. So let's make it first of 3. Because for a long time, even in Jordan's era when he was winning those 6 rings, at least I want to say the first round and the second round, maybe, but at least the first round was like a best of. They only had to win maybe 2 or 3 games at that time.
That was best of 5.
Yeah. So bring that back. Let the first round be a best of 5, and then everything else after that. Now, when we get to our top 8, it's a best of 7. Because if you look up the standings over these past few years, if you just took top 16 teams, some of those matchups would have been very interesting for TV. I think either last year or the year prior, you were going to be looking at like a Milwaukee-Houston matchup in the second round. So that would also remove tanking. Like, that would remove tanking, and then guys, even with me.
How would it remove tanking?
Not tanking, but my bad. It would remove load management from the like remove guys just wanting to rest in the event it's not really you being hurt. And I thought of another idea as far as tanking. I think I told you that one time where it was you let it be instead of it being
the teams who get closest. I did like that.
Remember
idea.
that, yeah.
That would be a change that what Lee said was actually be beneficial to the whole regular season if you really wanted to boost ratings and have everybody there. Mm-hmm. The teams who just missed out on the playoffs
get the first pick.
No, they get the highest percentage.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd still be a lottery, but like instead of the team that's 15th or whatever getting the highest percent chance to win, the team that's 9th gets the highest percent to win the lotto.
And then what you're rewarding is A, you're taking the season seriously. B, even in the event you're not winning games, like you're still putting a competitive product on the floor. So now imagine a scenario where a team like the Kings bust their butt. Dang.
You just missed it, and now you have James Wiseman or something to actually put you over the hump. That would really actually help and benefit competitiveness within the league. I really did like that.
Because there are a lot of teams, even during the process when that was going on, bro, Philly was putting, like, the product that they were putting on the floor was terrible.
Like, we were talking about what the Warriors have been putting out this year. Granted, injuries. They weren't tanking at first, but, like, Steph broke his hand. D'Angelo
Clay's already
in and out.
like,
Clay's ACL. Like, they didn't have really much of a choice, but it's tank, especially after Steph broke his hand. But the teams that were, like, Philly for, like, 8 years were just putting out whatever. The Suns for a couple years were just putting out like, "Hey, D-Book, go bananas," and we're just gonna give you nothing.
And then what
it's
that
really
does,
hard to watch.
With the way the contracts are now, where like I said, once you're a rookie, once that 3rd or 4th year comes, like if teams realize, dang, it's been years, we've been bad, and then we're not even getting high lottery picks. Like now we're either gonna have to treat our superstar really, really nice, or he's gonna leave. So I just think it would make everybody step their game up.
Not everybody. And then it gives another chance because, mind you, we're on like, I said this earlier, we're on like a year and a summer for most of these rookies. It's like, hey, we're going to give you a year in the summer. If you're not showing us anything that we like, you're out of here. It's always going to be somebody next up, blah, blah, blah. If you finish in 14th every year, you're not going to be getting a lot of looks for that next up person. So you're going to have to actually develop the young talent that you got 2 years ago in the lottery that you weren't putting any work in with.
Okay.
Everything would be just more competitive all around.
I can't see the only downside I can see to the flip of the lottery is for those teams who are at the bottom, and let's say they wanted to try to blah blah blah, they just don't get ahead. So if you're a small market team that nobody's gonna sign to, and now you can't even get a lottery pick, you might stay down for like 8 years. But you're right. Teams are just gonna have to step their game up.
Some of these teams though, they're not down just because of
No,
bad.
no,
Like, the Knicks are only that bad because of their own choices.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not anything else anybody.
Not 100%. But I could just see like. I can't even think of a team off the rip because most of the teams now that are that bad, they're that bad because of what they choose to be.
And the thing is, like, we're in the league, so like, at the end of the day, you don't have to be that terrible. You don't have to be that bad of a team. Like, I'm not saying you have to be in the playoffs every year, but you don't have to be like when the Sixers won like 11 games. You don't have to be that bad, bro. It's 82 of these games.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
All right, so. Did y'all say anything about the play-in tournament? Do y'all have any ideas?
I didn't. Yeah, they were talking about that. They were talking about at one point in time even like a mid-season like tournament. All of that is whack. Because then now that's like, what are we making these games work?
Yeah, I don't think I like the play-in tournament.
Because I can already tell you right now, Kawhi don't care about no type of.
Kawhi don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, as long as I'm in the playoffs.
He's a robot. He cares about nothing.
Yeah, he cares about chips. That's pretty much it.
So,
but what an idea that I did, like, not to cut you off, and I'm not sure if they're gonna ever implement it because of the injury circumstances that can come with it. But how in MLB their All-Star game actually produces the World Series like home and away, who has home advantage.
Right.
Like if
if that one side wins, then they'll get the
if the National League wins it or whatever, they get.
That,
I said that.
I hate that in baseball. I would hate it even more in the NBA.
It would make the All-Star game mad competitive, but the injury circumstances.
I don't think
you don't think the people will care.
I mean, all it takes is one to flip it.
Exactly.
You still won at home. You flipped it. Boom.
Yeah, and that's why I be tripping. I don't care too much when people.
So what's the point?
Yeah, like Tamana and I always argue about this. I want to hear y'all opinion. I used to love when the finals were 2-3-2.
I hated that. I hated that so much.
You get game 1 and 2, and then
I like it better now. 2-3-2. Granted, it was.
It
bro,
felt
3
like
games at home
felt
when
like
you're
a
the
disadvantage.
bro.
It did almost
like
feel like a disadvantage for the home team, for the team that had home court.
You still won game, and then you got 3 games.
I mean,
at
even
home.
if you held home serve, it's like you still got to go back to their house for 3 games. If they win all 3, you're now the one on the down.
So now you can't. There's no window for error.
This is what I was telling Tamana. I'm like, so Tamana, basically what you're saying is, you want to try to win a championship and not win one game on the road. If you don't want to win a game on the road,
but that's the thing I earned. I earned that right. I earned that right, though. If I won the regular season, I earned that right.
Regular season, and we're trying to make it really matter. Then yeah.
2-3.
If I have to, I'll do it.
You still have more.
It's a harder route. You're supposed
for
to
the
have
guy who's all about low management, missing
the
games,
bro.
the easy road.
Mind you, Kawhi don't care. Like, he feels he can win on any floor.
So that's my point. Like, yeah, if I have to win on the road, I'll go do it. But if I earn the right to not have to,
so
2-2.
So 2-2. So
I'm cool with that.
You win your first 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you lose those next 2. So now it's 2-2. So you want to be able to come back, get your third. You want to be able to potentially lose on the road and then still come back to game 7.
I earned that right.
So either way, in both systems, you have game 7.
You have game 7, but
there's
at no point. Let's say if we protect home court, right?
Right.
In that 2-3-2 scenario, you're going down home.
Exactly.
I'm going. So
if you was a 1
scenario, you're never
or whatever,
down.
In a 2, if
in the
you're
2-2-1-1-1 scenario, you're never actually down in the series. At most, you're tied.
But you're never down. Let's say we're just protecting home court in that 2-3-2. That means you will go back for game 6.
And
but
you're
down.
But you're still down. It's still a different scenario.
Win in your crib.
I'm not. I'm not saying I wouldn't like. Once again, beating somebody on somebody's floor. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not backing out.
Because if you're a champion, you do not deserve to have a championship if you do not want to win one road game. All you have to do is win one.
I don't want to. It's the fact that I earned the right not to have to.
It should be easier for me because I had a better season.
No, you earned the right. What home court does, home court just allows you the right to have game 7. But that doesn't remove you from not having to win a road game.
The whole series.
That's not what you asked us, though. You asked us what would we prefer. I would prefer 2-2-1-1-1.
Now, if you're
Not
looking at me
2-3-2.
and they said, hey, it's going to be 2-3-2, we don't care what you care about, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not playing it.
Exactly.
Series.
It's like,
no,
I'll go beat
I'm
you
gonna
in
go
your
out there.
house. Like, nobody's going to go and be like, oh, man, we got to play 2-3-2.
Because the way I'm going to look at it is I'm going to try to go out there and sweep regardless. Just a mentality thing. I don't think I'm going to drop a single game.
Exactly.
But it does matter.
But it does
in a
matter.
sense.
And it's actually been proven that it
And
matters.
I just like that it gave a little twist just to the finals. I wouldn't want
That,
I'm
and that's
not
dumb to
saying-
me. Once again, if you're talking about, and this is the thing I always kind of hate about baseball a little bit, is when you have a whole season played out one way, and then all of a sudden everything switches up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not the same game anymore. The thing we've been doing, the playoffs NBA playoffs last for like 2 months. So what we did for the first month and a half all of a sudden changes now? That's not the same game we've been playing.
I can see why you don't like that. What I don't get about what Tamon was saying was from the standpoint of the Prime series where I watched and I was like, yo, I really do love the 2-3-2 aspect. 06. D Wade was down. He went across literally with your style. Dallas took care of home court, won those 2 games, right? Mm-hmm. D Wade comes back, does what he does. Mind you, if you're a championship team and you're up 2-0, you're going on the road for that game 3, your mind, y'all are thinking sweep. Everybody in that locker room is like, bro, let's get this game 3. Let's go up 3-1, 3-0. Like, statistically, we've won the finals at that point.
But that's what I'm saying. Who won that finals? The team that had 3 games in a row, right?
And you want to know why they won that? Because they won a road game. That's why. Because if
They won game 6 after. Yeah. You
back in Dallas's court, back in that
I
joint.
can hear what you're saying.
But
You're saying
after
win a
the-
road game. I'm saying if I'm the higher seed, I shouldn't have to be forced to win a road game to not be down. To not be down before I go back home, I should not be forced to win a road game. I should be able to win this whole series without being down.
And
if I just protect home court. That's my whole purpose.
And real talk, as everybody on his basketball player, coach, whatever, you got to understand, momentum in basketball is super important. So, yeah.
You have the momentum. If you're going, if you're
you had,
up 2-0,
keyword was
you have
had.
Dallas has.
Keyword was had.
Right.
Had momentum. You were up 2-0, and Miami did exactly what they were supposed to do. They held home court. They took back momentum. Now, if it had been a 2-2-1-1 series, Miami holds home court 2-2.
We go back,
It's 2-2.
and
We're
then we
going
go
back to Dallas. And real talk, NBA players talk about all the time. Sometimes the difference in momentum, sometimes it's the plane ride. You finally get out of the city. You get back in your own bed. You're around your family.
Yeah.
You get to do what you do again. So sometimes that's all it takes to change momentum. So I guarantee you, some of them Dallas players probably look back and like, yo, if we had playing game 5 at home, that series might be totally different.
But they got game 6.
But you
what
were
I'm saying-
down at that
It
point.
was an
The
elimination
momentum-
game.
You just
finally
watched.
get back
So now
to
we
the
don't want to win
elimination
elimination games. We
It's
don't
not
want to
that
win
you
them on
don't
road.
want to.
It's
It's
like,
momentum.
Think about it. Let's say if you're just holding home court, right?
I'm gonna let y'all do that.
That means that if you're the lower seed, you won't have to face an elimination game until game 7 if everybody's holding
At
home
that
court.
point, Miami
But
was
that
playing
means
with
that
house
if
money.
if you're the home seed, you have to play your elimination game in game 6. And we're just holding home court.
It's more-
So that means the same with the lower seed faces elimination a game later if we're doing 2-3-2 and just keep it home court. Do you think that's fair? That I have to face elimination when I have the higher seed than you?
Like, it's a momentum. It's a mental aspect. It's
I'm
momentum.
listening to both.
It's momentum. It's in the emotional aspect. It's the mental aspect. Think about it. Dallas went up 2-0. Miami then came back, punched them in the mouth. Now they're down 3-2. You go back to Dallas. Miami's playing with house money at that
It's
point.
an elimination
They
game. They're
know
like, yo,
even if
I
we
got
lose
2
this,
games.
we got a game
I
7.
have 2 games.
But
Dallas-
y'all were up 2-0.
Okay,
bruh.
I'm not.
We're just
once
saying
again,
protecting home court, and then
Exactly.
eventually, like I can say this definitively, you're probably gonna have to win a road
There's
game.
never been a team to win a championship without winning a road game. There's never been a team to win all 16 of them were the 4 games that they got.
Facts.
And then in that case, based off of what y'all are saying, then y'all are saying every series the team with the home court advantage should always win. Y'all are basically saying there should never be an upset.
No, I'm saying it should favor the
It is
team
statistically
like that.
proven the team with home court wins 70% of the time.
It should favor
Like, that's
the
the
team with the higher
favorite. That's
seed.
why you played for home court.
And I don't think the 2-3-2 favored the team with the higher seed.
It just doesn't.
You got game 7, but like I said, if we're just strictly keeping home court, the lower seed doesn't have to face an elimination game until game 7.
Yeah.
The higher seed doesn't have to face an elimination game until game 6. That doesn't make sense.
Like, real talk, we're talking about Dallas was actually lucky they went up 2-0. Imagine if they had split those first 2 in Dallas.
And now you have 3 games at somebody else's
but
crib.
you can't. But literally, y'all are saying, bruh, all we got to do down is hold down home court. So now Dallas shouldn't have to win a road game,
But
and
that's
they
what
shouldn't have
everybody
to win
says.
one of their first
That's
two.
what everybody says when they go into a playoff series. We just got to hold home court. Whoever has the home court advantage is like, yo, we just have to home court. That's what everybody says. Is it always true? Of course not. You normally have to win one game. Normally. But the idea is we fought for home court
At
advantage.
bare minimum,
we earned
I
it.
have to hold home court. And
If we do that, we win.
2-3-2 isn't serviceable to teams trying to hold home court. It's not. Because you can't tell me it's fair that my game 6 has to be an elimination game if I'm just holding home court.
Especially going back to the idea of travel, rest schedules. Like I said,
Mind
two
you,
games.
and they do that only in the finals. So in the finals, you're getting they give you an extra day because they do. It's like what? It's like Thursday, Sunday.
No, because it's East versus West. It's a longer
So
travel.
you're getting
but
that
here's
rest.
my point. So you got the first 2 games in your city if you're the home team, but then you're gonna spend like 2 weeks.
You're gonna spend
in
like
the
at
other
least
city.
a week. You're gonna be gone for at least a week.
That's an advantage for that team who's staying at home for a week. Because then you're gonna, even if you do get back to your city, you're coming back. You're normally gonna have game 6 the first night you come back.
No. They gave you
you
those
one night.
because it's a travel day.
So it's
you're gonna get an extra
So
day.
you're gonna spend a day on a plane, get home, probably rest, maybe watch a little bit of film. Then you're gonna jump play game 6. The other team probably has all the momentum.
It's at least a 2 to 3 day rest in between.
And then game 7 normally happens maybe
It's
2
a rest.
days
It's
after
rest.
game
It's
6.
rest, bro.
You get 1 day maybe.
No,
maybe
because
2.
I remember that Cleveland joint. Tomorrow we watched it on a game 6. It was a Thursday. Game 7 wasn't until Sunday. Like the rest that they give you in between the finals does not change whether it's 2-3-2 or 2-1-1-1-1. Like all those days are spaced out in between.
I gotta look that up.
I can't definitively say, but I can agree with the sentiment. They do get a certain amount of rest. But the difference between staying in one city for a 2-week span while y'all are playing those 3 games and then have to come back home with the elimination target on your back. Like I said, like the team with the lower seed is guaranteed another game if we're just keeping home. That's wicked. And clearly there had to be a lot of NBA officials and representatives and blah, 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 because they changed it to the 2-2-1-1-1. So this discussion was probably brought up with every scenario in mind, and they figured, you know what, it is an advantage for the lower seeds.
I'm about to see because it was actually not too long ago that they changed it.
Yeah, it was about like 12 years ago, something like that.
Anyway, I said all that. Back on topic. The NBA trying to change the schedule. I think they're slightly overreacting to the ratings going down a little bit. You kind of had to figure the ratings was going to go down this year simply because most of your talent is now in LA. So
Later games.
Laker games, Clippers games, West Coast.
Mm-hmm. That's the harder thing.
The 10:30 games.
Yeah,
The 10:30
mind you,
games.
like I'm a huge Laker fan. I might be able to catch a quarter or 2, and then I'm like, yo, if I really want at least 7 hours of sleep,
Even if I'm like, I want to watch this game, I look up, I'm like, oh snap,
Bro,
I
it's
fell
12
asleep.
o'clock. I got to go to work, bro. Like,
Yeah.
So that's
and they flirted with moving the time to an hour.
They do need to make it. If they can get all the Eastern Conference games to start, or the Western Conference to start at 9:30.
But the thing is, out there in the West, that would be 6:30. Everybody's just getting off work.
Right.
So you're hurting the people that would actually be going to the
To the
game.
games.
Those rich people are going to those games.
I mean,
Like,
but even
you're
though-
going to those joints regardless.
Hey, let's
Come on,
go.
you and I got
We
tickets
got
to a
a
Lakers
whole
game. We're
market
taking
we
off
gotta
work.
reach out to.
Yeah,
I was just
exactly.
gotta call out.
Yeah,
They would see me on TV waving.
we going to those Lakers game. Like,
The other reason NBA ratings are down, I don't know how y'all feel. I said this before the season started. The NBA is kind of boring. Like, I'm sorry, this season has been low-key boring.
from what aspect would you say?
There's no major, like, for everything the Lakers are doing, for the Clippers are doing, like, one, there's no super team. Y'all can sit here and say y'all don't like it. Y'all
No,
can sit
we
here
all tuned in to either root for the Warriors or root against them.
or Miami.
Or Miami.
Or the Lakers and Shaq and Kobe. Or Tim Duncan and the Spurs. We root
There's no hateable
for
team right
or
now.
against
There's
super
no hateable
teams.
team right now.
It's always been that way in the NBA. And it always will be. It'll happen again. Just give it time. So with that being said, there's nobody for anybody to really root against or for. And there's nobody who's really doing anything record-setting. You can sit here and talk about James Harden putting up numbers. At the end of the day, most people don't like James Harden in the way he plays. That's a fact.
I'm gonna change that. I think it's way too many numbers being put up. I think we're getting desensitized to some of the stuff that's happening. Like, I remember when being like 8 years old, and in my head I was like, yo, like, Oscar Robertson was amazing. Like, if anybody else could average a triple-double in today's NBA, like, they would be definitively the best player on the like in my mind, just because I understood how hard it was to put up those numbers across the board. Flash forward 10, 12 years, Russell Westbrook starts doing it.
We don't care.
I don't, because it seems meaningless. Like, the numbers don't generally equate to winning or even effort half of the time.
Empty stats.
Yeah. So when you see these guys putting up these crazy amount of numbers, I'm looking at all the stats and I'm like, wow, that sounds really bananas. But now it just seems like a nightly or every other nightly thing. But back when we were growing up, if I found out somebody had put up 38, 11, and 8 and I missed that game, but now I just feel like, oh, it's cool. He's going to do the next game. I'm really desensitized to the performances. It's probably easier to do it offensively now in this day and age.
Players are just better.
Yeah.
And I can go down that road of cause we always do that. But yeah, you're right. The talent is
talent
really,
has improved, and I think
the game has
the
allowed
pace-
for it.
the
Yeah,
pace
the game has
is also
allowed
kicked
for it.
up as well.
So I think we're just desensitized to what we used to consider amazing.
I'll go with that.
I also do think another reason is, I think this is partially something that ESPN kind of cooked up themselves, but I don't think they give enough media to all of the stars in the league. I think potentially if we allowed some of these other guys to get some of these TV games, not saying like we put bad teams on them, but we've been hearing about LeBron for like so long that now because LeBron is on the West Coast, the dude that we're always talking about, we're falling asleep before we can see.
I can understand that too.
And I think,
I think yes, the ESPN and the
'Cause if that's
ABCs,
if
the
that's
Disney, like any major team or broadcast team you have, it's easy just to put LeBron on because for the last 15 years he's been easy, the most dominant force.
I can say this. Maybe they should attempt to have some of those West Coast teams that we really want to see, the Clippers, the Lakers, blah, blah, blah.
Have them play Eastern teams.
Perhaps for some of their televised teams, the greater Eastern teams. I thought maybe put some of their big marquee games more on the weekends than other teams.
And
so that way you can move the time.
They
up.
do that. They
Here's
do
the
that.
problem.
I'm saying
Football's
more.
done.
I'm saying more.
But here's the
Well, they
problem.
can't do that right now.
Here's the
Yeah, you
problem
can't
with
do
that
that.
situation, and I mentioned it, and we're not gonna have this full conversation because we've done it before. But we look at those teams and those marquee games that we want to see, but guys aren't playing all the time.
There's only one dude.
And I said we went
That's
back to
only-
low management, yeah. Because we had a
And
quick
I don't,
discussion
and it's
about
not
it.
necessarily just one dude. Like it's becoming, it's
Kawhi's really the only guy I would say doing.
No,
that
he's
right
just
now.
the most dramatic example.
exactly that's the
Who
most
else has
dramatic
really been
example.
load managing
But this
this
guy,
like-
even if that's the case, there's guys that are missing. Like we're gonna miss Kimba now. That's another Eastern guy. Gordon Hayward's out right now. I mean, we looking at Philly. Embiid doesn't play every night.
Ben Simmons been hurt this year.
So I mean, like looking at that situation, it's hard to just say like, okay, let's just focus on these stars when we don't know which game they're gonna play or not.
That's true.
And you can't force them to play because we could make the same case for them in terms of what we made for James Wiseman in March, just for pros in April. We're gonna want them to play for the playoffs because that's where the bread is made. That is when they play the J. Cole music in the back and everything, and that's when we are all at a peak in our hype. Because we know good and well these 7 games they play matter.
I think
It's a guarantee that these games they play matter.
it's just such a gap between how much the playoffs matter versus the regular season. And I think that's what the NBA is trying to do, is trying to close. The gap would never be even.
No.
But just to try to close the gap somewhat significantly. But you're right, that load management thing is a really big chip. And that's why I said...
And I don't know if I want to... I'm not trying to, like, call it load management because some of these guys, it's not necessarily they're just sitting out to not play.
They're hurt some
and
kind
load
of way.
management has a negative connotation now.
Guys with DMPs because of rest.
Right. Like these guys do play a lot of minutes. These guys do have ailments coming in. And we've mentioned this all the way up leading up to the season. Shoot back to our probably first to second pod where we talked about these young stars play so much basketball just trying to get to the league to where their body's breaking down at about 26, 27 years old.
Even before then.
So,
Facts.
like some of the greatest athletes never even touched the court because it
they're
broke
tearing
down.
That ACL at 17.
Exactly.
Because they're playing 12 games on a weekend.
Exactly.
You got
So I
4
don't-
games on a Sunday. That's sick.
So I don't know, honestly, how this per se helps them. Like, I just don't see it. An in-season tournament, what does that tell me? If I'm the Chicago Bulls and I win this in-season tournament, but I don't even make the playoffs come time, like, what does that mean?
Nobody cares.
What does that do? Like,
all about
what's the incentive that they gotta add to make this matter?
Have to be something along the lines of top 2 teams automatic playoff berth. It would have to be something like that.
Or
that's nasty. I don't like it
at all.
Yeah,
I don't like
that
it.
feel very
That's
college-y.
nasty.
Like when you win your conference, so you have an automatic bid. To
Yeah,
the,
like the 14 to 16 team shouldn't get in. Like, honestly.
But it kind of goes back to what we were saying. Like, if you don't have guys low management, are the 14, 15 really going to win this tournament? They shouldn't, unless you got guys who are just like, yeah, I'm not going to play here because I don't want to. That's the only way you can see those type of teams winning.
Nah, I don't think that tournament's gonna happen.
I also think the ratings are going to come back up once. For one, like you said, a lot of guys are hurt right now. Yeah, it's so early.
It's football season still.
Yeah.
And people have to realize, like, while basketball has made a significant jump, it hasn't quite yet replaced football as the most rated sport on television for
not even close.
And I don't think, and
that's what I'm saying. It made
honestly,
a significant jump, but it hasn't gotten there yet.
And I've thought about this a lot before in terms of when would that happen. And I think that's so far along down the road just because the NFL's only playing 16 games, even though they're talking about
every
18.
game truly does
Every
matter.
game truly
Like, while
matters.
I say the regular season matters to the NBA, like, not every game matters in the NBA. Period. Not every game really matters.
And it's hard to make 82 games matter. It's hard to make 78 games matter. And just adding an in-season tournament that would allow whoever wins, whether they're the Knicks or Charlotte or I'm naming all East teams or Grizzlies, like if they pull out, like if they win this tournament and they automatically get in, nobody wants to see Memphis get swept in the first round.
I don't want to see Memphis 4 games in the playoffs.
Disgusting. So I mean, like,
especially, mind you, that's probably gonna mean that's gonna bump one of the people like the Kings or the Pelicans, who I would have wanted to see.
Like these teams actually should be here. They actually have a chance, at least being competitive. Like,
you're right.
Or we want to see like what those young guys can do.
I think for all we know, I think if it were to be a tournament like that, I think even if dudes were load managed or whatever, I think a team like the Kings would be more inclined to win it before a team like the Knicks would, because they got those young dudes and they know, like,
it's a guarantee.
Yeah, they know, like,
I can see what you mean, but like upsets happen. Let's just say if they weren't the team that win it, and
this is an in-season tournament. It's one game, do or die, like run through, like, and then I'm not really sure on all the details in terms of how that in-season tournament will work. I think I heard somewhere or saw somewhere it might be put like where the Christmas games are. So it'll be like a holiday tournament, which I don't know how that would look. But yeah, so I need to know what the incentives are. I need to know what the implications are. I need to know a lot more in terms of how I feel about the in-season tournament. 78 games, I think that's gross too. You're messing with records and stuff. It's hard to kind of match up how these guys' seasons and points and all that kind of play out in my eyes.
I just
4
don't think
games
short. You would have to shorten the NBA season by at least like
10.
18 games before. Like,
but if guys are already playing 20 less games, then you take 20 off that 4, so now it's 24. It throws.
They're hoping to combat people resting by doing that.
They're trying to, but
I
that
don't
doesn't
think
change for our superstars. Kawhi's going to keep sitting. Joel Embiid is going to keep sitting because he has a foot issue. PG's gonna take his time when needed. LeBron's gonna take his time when he needed. Superstars and one thing we do have to like lean back off Kawhi. Superstars have always, for the most part, outside of Michael Jordan and maybe Kobe, have always taken a little time. Like they've all missed a few games here and there. Like, so it's not like this is brand new where superstars don't actually just sit and rest for a second. And Charles Barkley, whoever can come at me and say that's stupid, whatever, forget them. So, I mean, like, honestly, I'm not really concerned about, he's missing 20 games. I think it's more so like we're messing with the record books in terms of that. Like, it went from 13 to 16 back when Dan Marino was playing to now. So, you have to start doing a lot of guessing. Like, if he played 3 more games and da-da-da-da. Like, leave that alone.
That's the
if you want to add an
in-season
in-season tournament and you want to stretch the season out, I'll rock with that. But don't cut the games.
I think most of it's pretty stupid. Most of the proposed changes. I think the best thing that we talked about wasn't even the proposed change, and that was just the lotteries flip. That would make the regular season the most competitive out of anything that we've named.
Because now,
what will you do? Okay, so say the 9th seed is the highest pick. The 1st seed still is the lowest.
They just as far as just change.
It just changes
You just fill it out.
Yeah.
You just flip the lottery.
You flip
That's all
the
you
lottery,
do.
but everybody else stays the same.
Yeah. So all the playoff teams are still like, you made the playoffs, like whatever.
So, for all intents and purposes, right now the Lakers will still be the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're winning chips, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you don't need a lottery when you're winning chips, unless somehow you snuck up on a trade.
Okay.
My bad. Dying.
The only thing as an owner I would be opposed to that is, what if you are one of these teams who literally, y'all can sit here and say like, oh, you shouldn't only win 11 games.
But you're just that bad.
You are just that
Yeah,
bad.
I brought up that earlier.
You're
I brought up that
You're
earlier.
literally just sticking us in a never-ending cycle.
Let's answer some. The thing is, yes, if you are that bad, okay, let's answer these questions. Why are you that bad? In the Warriors' case, that is unfortunate. But you know what? Let's say we had this system. The Warriors are that bad because of so many injuries. But you know what? They're calling it quits because all those dudes are coming back next year.
Okay, so what about a team like?
You're gonna have to develop some players. You're gonna have to actually
But
put in
you
some
just
basketball.
took me out of
work.
the running for the best player, so now I got to
I
develop
think
a player who isn't as good.
You're gonna either become a more attractive free agent market. You're gonna
But
have
I'm
to
in
develop.
Cleveland.
I'm
I
in
can't become more
Charlotte.
attractive.
Like, come on.
If that's the
Move.
case, like you might
Go to
as well-
Seattle.
At that point, I'm selling my franchise, or I'm gonna say, hey, we need to get rid of. We need to just condense franchises. Then we need to take 10 teams out.
It's not even that. It's like, okay, so for a team like Cleveland, all right, you're probably at that point in time, you're probably gonna have to let go of K Love, and you're probably gonna have to trade for at least a couple of young pieces that might not. They're not going to get you to play to the playoffs, but they're going to play hard every night.
They're going to play hard, but
you're
they're
still
going to
be worse.
You're
still
still
going to be worse than the other
That's what
teams
I'm
you're
saying.
naming.
At the end of the day, you're gonna have to become a better organization through the hiring of better coaches, blah blah.
Yeah,
but
become a better market for free agents.
This is the
made
NBA.
develop,
Talent wins.
You've made it
You're gonna
harder.
have to develop some of your younger guys.
You've made it harder for those teams to do so. Like, it's already bad enough that they
The
are
NBA
the
has a
worst
very
team
clear
in the
construction.
smallest city. But now you've completely taken that option out of them, saying, "Oh, we have a hope in getting David Robinson. We have a hope in getting Anthony
LeBron
Davis.
James.
We have a hope in getting LeBron James. We have a hope in getting
And
Zion."
I hear what you're
You
saying.
completely eradicated that.
But this whole point was try to eradicate the non-competitive standpoint of the regular season. This is what that lottery flip guarantees to do. Now, if you're a bad team and you're at the bottom,
You're always at the bottom now.
But the thing is,
Yeah,
like I said, you have to.
the lines are cut.
You have to answer questions. We have to dive in. The Knicks are bad because they chose to be this bad. The Knicks isn't poor. No, nobody told them to sign 4 power forwards this summer. Nobody told them to. Nobody said that.
The Knicks are your one exception to the rule. They're just stupid.
Knicks.
I'll give you that one. They're stupid. What about Charlotte?
Jordan has made bad picks.
I was about to say, yeah.
Jordan has made a lot of bad picks.
Given Jordan the
But
lottery
Jordan has
then.
passed on a Jordan. I think
But-
it was Detroit and Charlotte. You could make super teams off of guys they've passed on.
But here's what you've done, even if that's the case, right? Here's what you've done for the Charlotte, for the Cleveland. Like I said, you've completely eradicated that option of them actually making the worst choice. So they can't do snubs anymore. They can't make a mistake. They can't, because now they've not taken the best player, or they don't even have the option of taking the best player.
And let's not
they
act
have
like
to,
every
they have to take
let's not
the
act
10.
like every number 1 draft pick is a future Hall of Famer.
But the majority of the time, it's a much better player than who you're going to get at 10.
You're generally right.
I wouldn't.
No,
say
it is.
every,
Nah, majority
It
of the
is.
time. Majority of the time, hands down.
95% of the time, the player you get at
95% of the number 1 draft pick is going to be
is going to be
95.
better than number 10.
All right, we better pull up.
I'll pull it up right now.
20.
NBADraft.com.
That's unnecessary. I think the number 1 pick generally should be better than number 1.
They just like proving each other wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
an
that's
unnecessary argument. Anyway,
Aside from that, though, I'll say this so a team like Charlotte, they are
Cleveland-
partially this bad because of the picks that Jordan made, bro.
Granted,
so I'm saying every
even
bad
if that's
team
the
you can
case,
trace it back to something.
even if that's the case, you trace it back to something, right? I'm not saying you're wrong. The Knicks suck because they've chose to suck.
you're talking
Charlotte
about a team who
sucks because
didn't
they
want
chose
to
to
suck, but they suck.
OKC, if they were in this position coming forward, if that was the
OKC's
situation,
not going to be bad this year.
But
That
they're going to
is
be
the
like
thing.
third
even
worst
if-
in their conference.
But even if that's like they'd be not necessarily the worst team, right? They won't have an opportunity to get the very best player if they did. Like, they have no outside
You know
of Chris
how many
Paul.
picks OKC has? Like, OKC is bad, but they are at least putting themselves. This new
But what
system.
took that to get them there? They
had
had
to
to trade away superstars. Charlotte doesn't have that superstar, Leek.
To be honest, I still think if Charlotte got
They
the
were
number 1 pick,
dropping off Hall of Famers for other teams. Where's Charlotte's Hall of Fame?
Bro,
He's already
Where's
gone.
New York's Hall of Fame?
Charlotte is bad
already gone.
because of their own choices.
Charlotte's Hall of Famer is 60 years old and he sits on the
And
bench.
he drafts bad people every year. He drafts bad people every year, bro. He has passed up on Donovan. He has passed up on Devin Booker.
You don't allow.
He drafted Adam Morrison over Brandon Roy.
You do not allow them an opportunity
How many drafts
to
do I
grow.
gotta give you? How many drafts do I gotta give you to grow, bro?
Apparently, all of them.
How many drafts do I gotta give you before we look Charlotte in the eyes and be like, maybe y'all would have been a little bit better if y'all didn't take Michael Gilchrist number 2?
I mean, once again, I never fault him for that pick because everybody had Gilchrist at number 2.
That don't mean everybody was right, bro.
I'm not saying, but once again, you can't, I give you, they made a lot of really bad draft
Come on.
choices, but that's not one I can blame you for when
Maybe
literally
not that
everybody
one.
had
Okay,
him.
That one just turned out bad.
It just turned out bad.
All
He
I'm
took
saying
Kaminsky
is-
over Devin
everybody
Booker.
smart said
All
to
I'm
do,
saying
and it didn't
is,
work out.
all I'm saying
That's
is,
the best.
when
That's
you make this
sports.
decision, when you have teams like this, in small markets, mind you, because small
It's
markets
gonna hurt the
are
small markets,
always
you're right.
getting killed.
It's
They're
gonna
losing their
hurt.
players all the time, easily wanting to go trade the bigger markets because of the situation, being able to market themselves better, all that in the third. When you take that and you do what you're saying you're going to do, and granted, yes, it would make them want to win more. If their talent doesn't match the other levels of talent, you are cementing them. You are putting a nail in the coffin that they will sit at the bottom.
That is not always.
That is true.
No, it's not,
There
because
is absolutely
you can
no
be,
way.
You can be a team like the Jazz, small market, will never sign a free agent.
Jazz is a basketball town, so that's kind of hard to do.
Bro, it is Utah though. It is Utah.
It's a pretty small market.
Each
and
of
they
their
developed that.
name the three biggest stars that Utah has had of this 21st century. The 3 biggest stars that they've had.
Gordon.
Darren Williams, Gordon Hayward, Donovan Mitchell.
All drafted. All late.
And a lot of people say extremely lucky.
Is
And
it
Darren
luck?
Williams wasn't that late. He was like 4.
But still not a number 1. All I'm trying to say
That's
is
the number
not,
4 though.
Okay,
that's
but
a top
Gordon,
5 pick.
Donovan was late.
Donovan was late, and most people say that's extremely lucky. That's almost Dame Lillard-ish. Like, nobody thought Dame Lillard would be this.
Okay, but the thing is, there's a lot of guys that are still getting drafted in these 1,
So what's
2,
your-
and 3 spots that are getting overlooked. Like, bruh, take a chance and actually evaluate these guys better than what
You
you've
really
been
think
doing.
they're not evaluating these
I
guys?
think there's some teams, yes, that are making bad choices because you're
That
picking
is
Kwame
one-
Brown.
no, that's not what you said. That's not what you
one thing
said.
about making- it's
It's
one
one
thing
thing
about
to make
making
bad
bad
choices. You
choices.
said they don't evaluate. Like, they don't have
They're
a job
not
to
$1
do.
billion companies, and they need
You
these guys
literally
to
think
make
they
more
just
money.
No,
Bro,
you
they
literally
need
think
to
the
walk
whole
out there,
college basketball
close
season they're
my
just
eyes,
like
and picking
yeah,
a guy.
We're not
I
going
can
to
say
do our
this.
job.
We can
We're
say
just
a
gonna
lot
pick
of
a name
people.
out of a hat.
Not
They
everybody.
get paid. They get paid
I'm
$70
not saying you're not good at it, but
to
to act like
just
they're
sweep
not
and
going to
pick a bitch.
try.
Y'all remember you were
But
great.
trying and when you're bad, like, you know what I'm saying? Some people are just
I
not
get
good
that.
at their
I
job.
get that. It's one thing to not be good at your job. It's where he just said they don't evaluate. No, they're not picking names out of a hat.
Bro, I'm saying though,
It's not random.
Who are you?
I see what you're
high-
saying, but I'm just
more
saying-
so-
Hey,
I'm
let-
more
let-
so
let-
saying
let
this.
him talk,
I'm more
let
so
him
saying
talk,
this.
let
I'm
him
more
talk.
so saying this.
Let Leek talk, let Leek talk.
Who are you putting? Who are you high in these positions of who are evaluating your guys? Do you have basketball people actually evaluating them? Are you giving out some of these jobs because of hookups? Because we mentioned earlier, has Luke Walton potentially gotten some of these head coaching jobs off of his last name?
Luke
So I'm
Walton
saying-
has been in the NBA.
But I'm not-
He's been an NBA coach since he retired. Like, stop saying he's proven his worth as a coach.
Finish.
aside from Luke, because there's a lot of other dudes in the league that have been head coaches or assistant coaches just as long as Luke has.
Facts.
So that's aside from the point. I'm saying people that are in these positions that are evaluating these guys, are they even sometimes the most qualified? That's what I'm saying. Like, organizations have to now look at themselves and are we putting the best people in each of these jobs? And I guarantee you no, because I guarantee you at your job, Brian, there are people that have power of authority over you that are not qualified for the position that they're in, and they're there because of some type of hookup,
say that on
something
the record.
X, Y, and Z, huh?
I won't say that on the record.
You're not saying it. I'm saying it. There's at least one person that has a higher rank over you in your job that is not the most qualified for that position. So don't act like that doesn't transfer over into the NBA.
So here's the thing.
And all I'm saying is let's address that before we're just saying,
here's the thing.
oh, poor, they're bad, they're going to be bad forever. No, let's
Here's
look at
what
what you're doing.
So
first.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it. No, you got it. So here's the thing. Once again, I won't disagree with anything you said. Are there some people in positions where they probably shouldn't be? Absolutely. That happens in every facet of business everywhere.
So let's
and it's
examine
not
that
going to
first.
change if you change the rules. I can guarantee that it's still not going to change. So the point I'm making is you're dealing in sports where sometimes the surefire thing doesn't work out. And sometimes you gamble on a guy like Damian Lillard, and he becomes a franchise cornerstone for 15 years. That's sports. Sometimes it ain't about how good of an evaluator you are. Sometimes it's just, it worked out for you. Simple as that. It's sports, man.
All I can see is somewhere in between the lines when we talk about whether the NBA wants to make the regular season more competitive, there's always going to be something that's lost with any change. And in this hypothetical scenario that we brought up, the thing that would be lost in the sauce is some of those small market teams being stuck at the bottom for a decade. That is true. The thing that is gained,
go ahead.
The thing that is gained would be the eradication of tanking. It depends on what you want.
So now
and
my
what you
team
see
is
the
just
focus
bad,
on.
even though we're not tanking. We're just bad forever.
And
now.
like I said, you
Like,
have to.
and that's my point. Like, we always talk about this whole thing about purgatory and all of that. You can get out of purgatory. Like, that's the whole point of it. But you actually are dooming a team to hell with this situation.
I don't think it's
That's
100%
exactly what you're
locked.
doing.
I don't
Yes,
think it's
it
100%
is.
locked.
Yes, it is.
So you tell me, like, what? So right now, let's say, and right now, this year is really kind of a really bad example.
Because
But
there's players everywhere.
it's players everywhere for the most part. But let's do the biggest one of them all. The one franchise we all admit is trash,
The
has
Hornets?
no idea what they're doing. Not the
Oh,
Hornets.
the Knicks?
The Knicks. What is their plan
But their problem,
to get out of
but
this?
their problem is actually organizational.
It's
They're one of the
organizational, bruh.
biggest markets in the world, and they can't attract free agents because of stuff like not offering Kevin Durant a max, not trading for AD, who said he was on the Knicks were on there.
All of
'cause
that
they felt
aside,
like it.
I'm not.
No, you can't
I'm
say
not-
all that aside when
I'm
the
not
star wants to come.
disagreeing.
And then
My point is, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. That is factually true. Organization, that is their biggest problem. My point is simply right now, going by what y'all are trying to do.
Yeah.
What would be their plan at this particular moment, right now, to fix that franchise?
First off, stop acting like you want to fire Dave Fizdale, which might be one of the best coaches you could get in this next coming decade. Let's not act like Dave Fizdale is not.
He's getting scapegoated. You're right.
Let's
He's
not.
getting
So that's
scapegoated,
the
but-
first thing.
Scapegoated.
Let's look
Okay,
at what they're
okay.
doing. Don't
Okay,
scapegoat a quality coach.
All right. He's not getting scapegoated anymore. He still has the same roster. What do they do?
Then at that point in time, you have to look at why did you use the money you used that you didn't want.
You're still talking about past problems. We're talking about future.
But I think
Future-
that
How do you fix the
How do
future?
we in this mess now? We
How do you
can't
fix
go back
right
in time.
now?
I either beat a 9th seed and get the best chance at a good pick, or I stay stuck here. What do I do?
I mean, but what I can say is too. Not all the time the highest percentage.
Y'all still
is
haven't
gonna
gave me
I'm
answers.
kind of caught us off because I let everybody else get their 20
Go
minutes
ahead.
of yelling off while I was silent.
You got it.
Not all time that team that has the best probability to get the highest pick gets it. It's still an actual percentage in a lotto. So you could be stuck at the bottom for 5 years and just so happen to luck up on a high pick. Now you have to do exactly what you need to do in terms of evaluating and drafting and blah, blah, blah. The Knicks need to look internally at their organization, their president, and even as far as their owner, who people are already begging him to sell the team. They don't want to win. They just trying to get it through the lotto, and their tanking and their competitiveness and the product they put on the floor is beneath what the NBA would even consider. That's the issue in solving all this. Is there going to be other problems that arrive? Yes. What do the Knicks go from here on out if the thing flipped today? They'll probably be bad for a couple years. They're probably going to have to shift some stuff in the organization, becoming a more attractive team for people to come to. That's all self-reflection. That's all that is. That will force that to do. Now, if you're one of those small market teams, I said I feel for them. They're going to be trapped for a good little while until they luck up in the lottery or until they're able to put something together for a piece or two, which is going to take a while.
You can't sell.
But
that way.
Philly was a big market team that did what every year until they just lucked up through the lotto.
Dang.
Trust the process.
And it was completely and utterly disgusting to watch every year.
And guess
year
what?
After
I guarantee
year.
you, every Philly fan right now is like,
it
I'm
was
cool
worth
with
it.
Yeah, after 7 years, yeah, it was worth it.
Okay.
After 7
Thank
years.
you, Sam.
So you thinking that 7
Thank you,
years
Sam
that a
Hinkie.
team who was just finishing 13th through 15th in their conference every year can't come up with some kind of
So,
product to get closer to a lottery
but-
probability, closer to the 10th or 9th seed? You're telling me 7 years they're just going to be stuck at 15? I'll put money there
between
now.
13 and 15.
I'll put money against that.
You can't. No,
I can't guarantee that because, mind you, it's still a lottery where in
Because
that
you want to know what the
standpoint-
difference is between Philly right now, if that happened and what they are now? Instead of having Joel Embiid, you have like, I don't know, Miles Bridges.
You don't. The thing is, bro, you're just saying that to try to prove your point, bro. If I pull
Well,
up I'm looking at the All-Stars from last year. Just All-Stars from last year. Mm-hmm. This is going from Eastern Conference Reserve. I don't know. I'm about to run through it. All right. Kemba, not a top 3 pick. Kyrie was. Kawhi, end of the lottery. Giannis, end of the lottery. Joel, what? Yes, top 3 pick. Kyle Lowry, no. Vic, top. What was
I've
he,
heard you
4?
name 2 franchise changers.
But we're talking
And I
about
don't even know.
All-Stars.
And I still don't even know if Kawhi is a franchise changer.
Shut up. Let's end this pod, bro. Let's end this pod.
Bruh.
I know.
No, bro, that was kind of wild.
Is it? Thank you.
Yes, he changed the franchise. He won a
What?
chip. He won a chip.
He took a 1 seed to the championship when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Did that change the franchise?
I said from jump. I've said from jump, if you put any other superstar on that team, they do the same
That's
thing.
changing a
He went to
franchise,
San
bro.
Antonio with Popovich,
That's
Duncan,
changing a
Ginobili, and
franchise.
Parker.
That's changing
That's
a
not a
franchise.
franchise changer.
That's changing the franchise. He
yo.
gave him a chip. And then he made the Clippers a favorite.
You can make. I've made the argument. You can put any superstar in that scenario and they win a chip in Toronto. I've made that argument before.
You made the argument, and
So that
all
doesn't
the
make you a franchise
all the
changer.
names that you're gonna
When I
bring
say
are
a franchise changer,
changers.
when I say franchise changer, I mean a dude who literally goes to a trash team, takes them from trash to playoffs. Kawhi has never done that. You can't prove he's done it because we've never seen it.
Like 2 people.
My point exactly.
Well, you're talking about something else then. You just
That's
said
my
franchise
point.
changer with
but
no
you're
That's a
definition.
franchise changer in my book. Somebody who can take a trash team
You might have to
from
change.
trash to
You
playoffs.
might have to change the
That's
the
a
words.
franchise
You might have
changer.
to change the phrase of that word.
He's a superstar.
But what I'm saying, you're
He's
trying.
not a franchise
You might have to
changer.
change the word franchise changer. Like that phrase
So-
is definitely not.
No,
fitting
that's
to what
my
you're-
phrase. That's how I define it. I'm sticking with it.
All I was trying to do with naming off these All-Stars was to show y'all keep thinking just because you're not getting a potential top, because all these teams are tanking to be one of those top 3 picks for the most part.
Just because you're not getting a top 3 pick
Does
doesn't
not
that-
mean you're doomed. Because looking at these All-Stars, regardless of what the definition is defined as, okay, like I said, Kyle Lowry, not a top 3.
You said Kyle Lowry's overrated and trash for us. How long?
Bro, I'm gonna keep going through these names. Vic, yes, is a top.
Took
Was a
Vic
top
6
3.
years to become an All-Star.
Okay, Chris Middleton, not a top 3 pick.
Chris Middleton isn't changing anything.
Bro, we're not talking. We're talking. But is Milwaukee not a good team?
So my point is simply
Milwaukee
But what
not a
had
good
to
team.
show up for them to be that team?
A guy that was drafted late lottery.
franchise changer.
But
When did you
but
draft him, though?
his
When did
point
you
was-
draft him?
his
When did you
point-
draft
his
him?
point was,
When
he was
did you
drafted-
draft him? Y'all
he
are
was
Greg,
like
you're getting
13,
so
right?
mad and you're not looking at the fact of
No,
when did he
I
draft
see
him.
what you're. I see exactly
We
what you're
get
saying.
exactly what you're saying.
We're
But
saying.
how many times has that happened, Lee? How many times do we see a 7-footer from Greece
It's not
show
the
up
player,
and
bruh.
change
It's
a team,
not
Lee?
the
It is
player.
the player.
Bro!
It's always in the NBA. It's in the NFL. It's system is coach. In the NBA, it's the player. You need a superstar.
You need a LeBron.
Franchise.
You need a
LeBron,
Jordan.
Jordan.
You need those.
Giannis. Harden.
Those aren't the
whoever.
only. Those aren't the. So
Everybody you just named, all the players you just named, outside of
Great players.
Joel Embiid.
are we trying?
All good.
So
really-
is that not what we want as a team? As
Hold
a
up,
great
but
player?
everybody you named comes with a caveat. Kyle Lowry, you said it took 10 years for him to become an All-Star. Vic took 6 years for him to become an All-Star. Chris Middleton is only an All-Star in the East with Giannis playing beside him. Everybody you named, you put them on a trash team. Guess what that team stays? Trash. They stay trash. Kemba, as great as he was in Charlotte, what was he? The 10 seed.
But you just said there was only 2 franchise. Well,
My
I said
point exactly.
So, and I guess your whole point is you're more likely to draft that franchise changer if you
in the
have a
top
high
5.
and at the top
9
5
times
pick.
out of 10.
9 times out of 10 they'll be located around there. I could agree with that. You're generally gonna get the best talent in there. My whole point in the first place, this isn't a football team where the NFL where your pick is locked. Where if you have the absolute worst record, you're gonna get the first pick. Just because you have that 9th seed doesn't mean you're gonna get the first pick. It's gonna fall anywhere. You could end the 9th seed and end
All
up
I'm
with the
saying
7th
is
pick.
you put those small markets, and granted, we're not just talking about the Knicks, because we
It's going
recognize
to
what the
damage
Knicks
them
are. We
somewhat.
recognize who
Yes.
James Dolan is, and as a trash owner, we recognize that. But we talk about teams like the Sam Presties at Oklahoma City. We talk about Phoenix, who, yes, Sarver isn't the best owner, but he's trying to piece it back. That team's trying to piece it back together.
And they're
we
on
talk
the
about
upswing.
those small market teams. All of those small market teams, it takes them those picks to make that happen. Philly needed every one of those picks, misses and makes, to come up with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Granted, they tanked. Granted, we don't want that to happen, but that's the way it is. And you doom a team to that situation if you flip it like that.
So hypothetically, what if there's no flip?
If Victor Oladipo was the number 2 pick, by the way.
He was. I said he was a top 3 pick. I said he was.
Granted, it's not completely 100% guaranteed, but you definitely plummet their situation.
What I'm trying to say
that's
is
not fair.
That
That is
is
not fair. And you
Greg,
kill the league.
What I killed the league, we just made it more competitive.
In
theory.
You made it more interesting.
I told you something's
made it more
gonna
interesting
die.
in the top.
Something's gonna die
You made
either
it more
way.
interesting in the top.
Keep it like
but
this.
those 6 teams at the
I
bottom.
don't think we made it.
You
interesting
killed
in the
killed
top.
all hope in that franchise.
Not all hope.
Bro, the team that was just terrorizing the league, mind you, we have all said they've made one of the sorriest winning moves in getting Kevin Durant, who is one of those top 3 picks. Mind you, he joined 3 guys that are Hall of Famers, that are part of the greatest team that we've ever seen. None of those dudes are top 3 picks. I was about to curse. Your favorite pal, 2nd round. Mm-hmm. Steph and Clay, neither of them top 3. So all I'm trying to get at here is, yes, more times than not, those transcending dudes, sometimes they fall in that top 3. But I want it to be known
Name
that
another situation like that.
They were once in a generation.
Can you name
That team
another
was
situation
once
Where
in a
what?
generation where Golden
that
State
is
happens.
the
that's
perfect
of top
storm
threes
of the
of
You
team
get
winning
a team where
without
they are a championship team without
a top 3 pick.
huh?
Without a top 3
Without
pick.
any top 3 picks on that roster, essentially.
I'm about to, because I'm sure
It's
that's
them, and then it's Toronto. Those are it.
None of those Lakers teams. Sure, not the Bulls.
I was thinking about the 2000.
Not the Spurs.
Maybe you're
Tim
pissed.
Duncan.
Maybe you're
Tim
old-
Duncan
old
is a
Pistons.
top 3
Pistons.
pick.
Maybe
The Lakers had
And
a
they
top
were-
3 pick with the 2008, 9, 10 saga.
Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol was in top 3.
Like, come on, dog. Like, hey, we gotta go because
That's not
we
that
gotta-
blasphemous.
That's
It's
not
not that
crazy to
blasphemous,
say.
bro.
Y'all are making it seem like it has to be
I'm
a
saying,
top 3 pick.
look at all the circumstances you were putting together to make this more valid. You named 2 situations that are probably the most perfect storms. A kid out of Davidson who everybody said like, oh, there's absolutely no way this could translate, and then a kid from where's Clay from? Washington State. We didn't know he was supposed to be that good. Like, oh, and then they came around and got a fat guy out of Michigan State.
And then
Like,
and then,
really?
And then what did
Really?
that take?
And then it took him to
Not to
fire
mention
their coach.
trading for Andre Iguodala, getting David Lee.
Fire
at
their
the
coach.
time.
It sounds like great organization.
Andre Bogut,
That's
who
what
was the
I
number
said.
1 pick.
I said it sounds like a
Like-
great organization that did
Make
organizational
good
changes.
Picks. So that's and Tamon's on my side with this, bro. So yes, they got those guys.
They
but
didn't even think they
And
would
we
get
running out
Steph
of
Curry
time.
because
We
other
running out
teams
of time. The
passed
camera-
on them.
But that's what I'm
Running
saying.
out of
People
time.
gonna do that all the time. Like Johnny Flynn got picked over Steph Curry.
We can
it's gonna
pick
happen sometimes where the teams who have the higher picks are probably gonna make a blatant mistake that we can see years past.
We're running out of time. Guys, if y'all have any comments to if they should flip it, put it in the comment section below. And give us y'all reasons why. If y'all on me B side or y'all on TK and Leek
Flip the
side.
lotto.
Flip the lotto. Hashtag flip the lotto. Put it in the comments. Yeah, man, this is a good pod, guys. I appreciate y'all, man. And
Yeah,
gonna
we're
talk-
back, baby.
We
We
back.
came back with a
Hey,
vengeance.
low management.
All for
Came
low
back with a
management.
vengeance.
All for low
Hey, B,
management.
where can we find you, bro?
Yo, y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at only1beecham. I'm easy to find because I'm the only one out there.
Leek, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and IG at Coach Leek. That's KOACHLEEK. And look at how strong you come back when you load manage. We went
Kawhi
for 40.
shooting the worst
We went-
percentage
we went
of
for
his
40.
career,
We
so
went for
apparently
40. We went for 40.
This was a
you know,
great pod.
yeah.
This was a great pod.
Anyway.
This was a great pod.
We went for 40 today on the pod.
You can find me on Instagram at @1Greggy. You can find me on Twitter at Greggy Chillin. You can find the pod on Instagram at HoopsMinerPod. You can find us on Instagram at HoopsMinerPod. On Twitter at Miner and Hoops. We appreciate everyone who's watching, everyone who's listening. Both of the pods will be. This pod will, in full length, be on Spotify, Apple, any of those podcasts.
Any of the streaming services that want to give us a bag.
And the episode for this one will be on YouTube, but it'll be cut into segments, so we'll put it in a playlist. You can watch it all the way through if you want to. Appreciate everyone who's watching. Appreciate everyone who's listening. TK, send us home.
All right, first and foremost, shout out Dunkman Keith
Dunk.
on the mix. You can follow him on Twitter, Instagram at Dunkman Keith. Just giving you a heads up, not safe for watching or listening. This man gets wild on social media. You can follow me, King Commentamine, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm still the same dude as I always was. And, of course, we're back to my segment where I give a special shout-out. First and foremost, Thanksgiving is coming up. I'm going to give a special shout-out to all the family hoopers. So we have the Holidays, the Currys, Kobe and his dad, not MJ and his son, Bron and Bronny, everybody with generational talent in your family that all hoop, even the ones I don't know who hooped at smaller colleges, everybody who made sports and hoops a family thing, I thank you because I think it's one of the best ways to bond.
Hey, as we always say, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. We out.
That was pretty decent.